Back-to-back Group 1s then. Race number 8 is the Stewards Cup, the first leg of the Triple Crown, headed by Beauty Generation. Of course, HKIR Mile Hero from December. It's come up with barrier 13 though. Helene Paragon won the race last year. Cup winner Time Warp is back with Zach Purton-Werther, who was run-up behind Time Warp in the Cup. Beauty Only gets Neil Callan back on board. Seasons Bloom was favoured on International Day. Western Express ran second to Beauty Generation. We've got 50-50 who takes the step up in class, and Southern Legend, course and distance for the first time for him, but he did claim the scalp of Nothing I Like More. Sichuan Da makes up the fields, which looks like this as far as the speed map is concerned, Brett. Both the natural pace angles come with a wide draw. If nothing else, you think Time Warp, without cutting his own throat, is going to make Beauty Generation work to get to the lead. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Zach Purton will allow Beauty Generation to cross, as you pointed out, because you would think he would want to find the front, and we know Time Warp was able to do it all in the Cup when he was able to lead. Giant Treasure, who is a winner of this race, of course, a couple of years ago, potentially could get another lovely little spot. 50-50 is an awkward one. He'll be rolling forward. Whether he gets in there or not, whether Western Express kicks through, 50-50 gets caught deep and maybe has to press on and even eventually try and get outside of Beauty Generation up front there. That's possibly another little option. So a bit like the sprint, there are a few sort of little question marks as to how it might eventuate through the first few hundred metres.
All right, but there are certainly some definite get-back horses there as well, Paul. Again, how have they been looking in the morning?
Yeah, they've been looking pretty good. The first one we're going to have a look at here is Beauty Generation, just working with Helene Charisma there. He's going very, very well. He's come out of that race with no problems whatsoever, and he's been a most improved horse, and he's reinvented himself as a champion miler here. Here's Seasons Bloom. He's just doing it nice and easy with Lucky Year, who's in one of the earlier races. But Seasons Bloom doing it nicely. Joe Moreira just coming off his back there and doing it easy as you like. So he's coming to the race pretty well. And here's my old favourite here, 50-50, going nicely. He's stepping up to the mile for the first time, which I think is really going to suit this horse. So he's looking good. No problems with him.
Where does he end up, Paul?
I think he will slot in because it said good to slow there. Zach won't want to go slow on Time Warp. He needs to roll. He's a 2,000-metre horse in a 1,600-metre race. So he's going to roll. Beauty Generation needs to lead as well. And I think they'll open it up for some of the other horses.
And they'll set 1-2 and then the others can slot in behind.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Yep.
All right, well, let's find out from the jockey on board, Beauty Generation. That's Derek Long.
Well, Derek, he won the Hong Kong Mile last time on Beauty Generation at Group 1 level. Can he win another Group 1 on Sunday, do you think?
I hope so, and sure I am with the horse. We will do my best.
You've ridden him in a lot of his work and also a barrier trial since that race. How's he been?
He been fit and top form in the early season until now, and after the a mile, and we have only light work for him in the track work. And after the trial, we put a bit pressure on the horse, and the horse the form is well now, and I hope he will win well again.
He's drawn 13. Last time in the Hong Kong Mile, you're able to come across and lead and dictate the race. This time, you're up against Time Warp. How do you see the speed battle in that race?
Yes, I'm sure we will do the same with last time, but you can see Time Warp and the other few horses will be trying to be handy position, and I still have to discuss with the trainer, but ideally we still try to go forward and handy position.
That's the best way to ride him, do you feel, from what he's done this season?
Yes, you can see he's very honest, and every time he go forward, he can relax by himself, and it's the best way to read him. So I don't think there's any reason to change his plan, so we ideally still try to be handy position.
Just looking at yourself too this season, Derek, you've had that association with Pingwu Spark, who's won 5 races, a Group 1 win here with Beauty Generation. You represented Hong Kong at the IJC. Is this the best time in your career?
Well, for sure, this season will be my special season for me, and I hope keep it up, and I hope keep doing my best, and hope win more Group 1, and hopefully my career is keep improving.
He's got a live shout at another Group 1 here. We're going to have a look back at the mile here, and I'll hold my hands up. I've underestimated Beauty Generation all season. Didn't have him in the numbers on this occasion. He just galloped them into the ground. Big question is, can he do it again? Because half of them come back at him once more. Who we also got in here? Western Express in the field. Of course, Helene Paragon out wide, Beauty Only out there as well. Seasons Bloom was favourites on this occasion. We've also got Sichuan Da, Joyful Trinity, and one more, Horse of Fortune.
Well, Joyful Trinity's had another little setback worth noting with regards to him. So I think that puts him a little bit on the back foot, and I'm not quite sure he's been to his optimum level for quite some time. And Seasons Bloom is, of course, a horse that did pull up with some issues after this race, blood in the trachea, but still ran quite a very competitive fourth in the end. And I thought the run from Helene Paragon was terrific. Western Express was honest. So, as we've looked at the speed map, you don't envisage Beauty Generation getting the same type of run there. So I'm going to shop around and look for those horses in behind that are closing off.
I mean, he got the sole lead in this particular race. Time Warp got the sole lead in his race.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen in this one because obviously one of them has to lead. And which one's going to lead? That's the question.
Potentially they could stride together, I suppose, and not overcook things and then sprint together and make it difficult for the horses back in the field.
All right, this is 50-50. Of course, we saw this race before, was Beat the Clock as a form reference, but 50-50 winning here is lead at race. But bear in mind, Helene Paragon is £20 better off. Beauty Only £19 better off as well. We've also got Southern Legends in the field, and the other one, of course, the old boy, Giant Treasure.
Yeah, he had this race, you know, the weights really suited him, 50-50, but he did make the step up. He won the race. The question mark is, can these other ones turn him over? And weights and measures say they can, but Helene Paragon is obviously, he's come up favourite. He looks very hard to beat. But I'm just worried about barrier 2 for him. I know that sounds a bit weird because it's a low barrier draw, but he hasn't got that early gate speed. And if he gets too far back, that worries me a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he drew 2 when he ran behind Beauty Generation in the mile, but I think he's flying at the moment, Helene Paragon. 50-50's like Beat the Clock. Class 1, Group 3, now Group 1, set weights. It's a huge ask for him. But he's obviously a very talented horse.
In a very, very strong year as well. I'm not saying he can't do it, but it'd be amazing if he did.
Touching as well on Beauty Only, we heard from Zach leading into the International Mile that he was perhaps a few weeks behind the sort of the ball game. Those few weeks are past now, so he might be one that goes around at a little bit of value.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is the Cup from International Day, and Time Warp with Zach in the saddle just dictated Bold Along in front. They couldn't get him. Werther, a solid effort, though, in second.
Yeah, good run from these ones. Now, the question with Werther is, I mean, it's a mile. I think it's a little bit too short for Werther. You know how much I love the horse, but I just think it's going to be a little bit too short for him. And Time Warp, he's not going to get his own way. Then there's no way they're going to let Zach Purton get away with this. You could sort of pose the question as well that maybe Time Warp is a little bit like Werther, coming back to the mile. I mean, it's not his optimum trip, so... although he's unbeaten over the course and distance and he holds the track record at Happy Valley for 1,800, he's a very good horse at that distance, but ultimately maybe 2,000 is better. So there's quite a little sort of things to weigh up and so forth as to how it might unfold. I'm just going to stay away from the 2 that we've highlighted primarily and shop for something closing over the top. It's an outstanding race, Paul. You've got to leave a few out here, so who gets in? Well, I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to put 50-50 on top. I've been with him all year. He hasn't let me down. And he keeps improving. Look, he's come up a bit shorter than I thought. I thought he'd be about $10 in this particular field and sort of $2, $3 a place. So I thought he would be a good each-way bet. Helene Paragon's obviously in great form, and on weights and measures, he's going very well at the moment. He looks tough. Seasons Bloom had excuses last time. He did have that blood in the trachea, which is a little bit of a problem, but his work's been good leading in, and we know he's a high-class horse. And Beauty Generation, you can't ignore him because he is the true miler in the race this season. 11, 2, 6 and 1. Yeah, as Andrew highlighted, I mean, there's half a dozen horses, even 7 or 8, that you could throw into the first 4. It's a real classic race, isn't it? Helene Paragon just sitting in behind. I think he's flying at the moment. To run over Time Warp, I think Beauty Only, now that he's had that extra month or so underneath his belt, can close in as well. Over Beauty Generation, I've left out 50-50. It wasn't easy. Western Express I've left out as well. And I tipped Seasons Bloom in the mile, and he had obviously blood in the trachea, but he's drawn gate 1, and it was still a great run in defeat, all considered. So it's a fabulous contest. 2, 3, 5, 1 for the record for me. Yeah, Helene Paragon for me as well. 2 and 6, that's the cute Seasons Bloom in there for second spot. That was the Stewards' Cup. Still 2 more good races to come, including a Derby trial of sorts up next. That's race number 9.